The audition process has changed dramatically since the pandemic. In-person auditions are pretty much a thing of the past, and self-tapes have completely taken over. That shift has opened up the floodgates for opportunity. Casting directors are no longer limited to a small pool of local talent. Now they're reviewing hundreds of tapes from actors all over the world, which means that the quality of your self-tapes are more important now than ever. A clean, professional-looking tape helps you stand out immediately, and in this video, I'll walk you through how to set up your at-home self-tape studio, the gear you'll need, and how to edit your tapes so that they really pop. Now, as you know, acting is an incredibly competitive industry. Having clear audio, proper frame shot, and footage that's in focus instantly sets your tape apart. And don't worry, you don't need to spend a fortune. You can create a great-looking self-tape setup with just your phone, a blank wall, and a window. So let's break down the 3 essential elements. You got your camera, lighting, and your backdrop. Now, when it comes to a camera, your cell phone will do just fine. The image quality on phones nowadays is amazing. And if you decide to use your phone, always make sure you are filming horizontally, not vertically. The next step up from your phone would be a DSLR camera. I use the Sony EVZ10, which works great for me, but any DSLR camera will do fine. As your career grows, you want to think about investing back into yourself, whether that be through hopping in a class or upgrading your gear. But honestly, the latest phones that are out there are still a great option. Whatever you decide to use, make sure you grab a tripod as well to hold your camera in place. You can grab a basic tripod for around 20 to 50 bucks. I'll have a few options on everything I mentioned in this video in the description. For sound, if you're using your cell phone or a built-in mic in your DSLR camera, make sure you're in a quiet space when recording. You don't want any sounds in the background distracting you from your performance. A step above that would be to invest in a directional mic. I use the Rode Video directional mic myself. If you do end up getting a directional mic and you want to use it with your phone, you'll have to grab a headphone jack adapter as well. Now, most mics have a microphone jack, but those are no longer supported on modern phones. If you're recording with an iPhone, you'll need to grab a dongle. That is actually a word. Remember, picture and sound are the 2 most important elements to your self-tape. If either of these things are off, your tape will simply be skipped over. Remember, they now have hundreds of auditions to go through. Don't shoot yourself in the foot by submitting something of poor video or sound quality. Set yourself up for success by making sure that your tapes look and sound great. Next, you want to make sure your tapes are well lit. Shooting your auditions by a window for natural light is always a good option, but that light source isn't always guaranteed, and if you have more than one scene to put down and it takes you a little while, the weather can change, and the lighting on your first scene won't match the lighting from your last scene. You want to try your best to make sure that the lighting is consistent for all your scenes to make it more of an enjoyable experience when watching. Now, the next step above that would be to get a simple ring light setup. I like these because they're relatively inexpensive and doubles as a tripod as well that can hold your phone, your tablet, or your DSLR camera. It's pretty much a one-stop shop for setup needs. Another great option for lighting would be the use of some soft boxes. Now, these start at about $100 and can go for much more, but for self-tape purposes, you don't really need to get the expensive ones. Make sure you're getting soft boxes that come with 2 and place them on either side of your camera, filling the frame and yourself with nice consistent lighting throughout your tape. Now, some people like to add a backlight as well to add a nice little halo effect, but I personally don't think that's necessary. Now, as far as backdrops go, you want to make sure you're filming against a blank wall clear of any distractions. So, no pictures up, no major cracks on the wall, or outlets visible. You should be the main point of focus in your audition, so make sure there's nothing in that frame that would be distracting from you. A step up from a blank wall would be to use a colored backdrop. Now, try to keep it to a standard blue or gray. Anything else can be seen as just a little extra and distracting. For many years, I was just hanging up a gray sheet on my wall and using that as my backdrop. So if you decide to go that route, make sure that it's free of any wrinkles. You can also paint your wall as well. I did this with my at-home self-tape studio, and it really makes my self-tapes look professional. Here's an example of my studio setup and what that looks like. As you can see, we have the light set up on either side of the camera right there in the center with the Rode directional mic on top. This is from the perspective of you, the actor. And over here is what it looks like from the perspective of the reader. You can hit record, run lines from there. If you want to take it one step further, you can also grab an HDMI to mini HDMI cord to hook up to your TV to play back and review your tape. It's extremely helpful to review your self-tapes. You don't want to obsess over them, but you do want to get comfortable objectively watching your own performances. Our frame is so close that what might seem like the slightest reaction to things are on display for the world to see. Now, back when I first started auditioning, self-tapes were a rarity unless you were being considered for larger roles that were outside of your city. So I would run auditions at home with a few of my friends to really get specific with our work. Also, don't feel like you need to wait for auditions to be auditioning. Malcolm Gladwell said it takes 10,000 hours to master any skill, and auditioning is just that. A skill we as actors must master. It's important as artists that we live by the stay ready so we never need to get ready mentality. So much of what we do is luck, but I believe luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Now that's all you'll need for your at-home self-tape studio. Let's take a moment to check out some editing tips that'll really help your auditions pop. Now I'll be using iMovie for this example, and I find that most editing softwares have the same basic controls. So first thing you want to do is import your media from your memory card. Now I already went ahead and put my clips onto my desktop so they're easily accessible. Import media. Here on desktop, I'm able to find the clips, import the selections, and you have your 2 clips right here to be able to start fiddling around with. Grab your first scene, put it into the timeline, and you just want to trim all the extra bits of the audition that isn't necessary. So, about to step in and say my first line. It's 1 second of a clip I'm trimming, but that 1 second was not necessary. And at the end here, we will simply trim that out. If the scene ends here, I'll give it a couple beats to add tension. Command B to trim your clip. You can also go up here to modify and trim and split clip over here. Also shows Command B. A little quicker. Grab this selected clip you don't need, trim that. Next, I'll grab the slate, toss it into the timeline, and do the exact same thing. Now with the slate, it gets right into it. I'm not wasting any time. I don't think I'll be needing to trim anything. And as you can see, it starts with a full body and zooms in to about the chest up while you answer all the questions, name, height, location, the role you'll be going out for, whatever the breakdown asks for, give it to them in your slate. Now that you have both clips trimmed properly, you want to go to transitions and grab a fade to black. We want to make everything as smooth and as easily watchable as possible. So grab a fade to black in between the 2 clips. It's a nice transition from the scene to the slate. And you also want to grab that same transition, fade to black, put it at the top of your clips and at the end here. So now that you have your clips all trimmed up and looking good, next thing you want to do is add the title cards. So off the top, I add the standard lower third title on top of the clip here. Just simply put my name and the role I'm going out for. Detective Burns. It is the exact same function of having a title page, but instead of wasting that 3 seconds before getting into the goods, we've combined them both. There we go. And then you want to add your end card with all the information that they'll need to get a hold of you if they liked your work or want to give you a call back or reach out to your agent. So I like to use just the standard title card here. And that's it. Right there, you got it. You have a simple transition off the top. You got your name, the role that you're going out for. You want to aim for something just like this. I find it's slightly tighter than what the standard frame. Most people suggest let's just focus on you. Let's focus on your face. Let's focus on your eyes and fill up the screen with as much of you as comfortably possible. So just a little bit of space left here up top so you can breathe. Transition from one scene to the slate is looking good, nice and smooth. And then from the slate to the title page. All right, now that you've reviewed your clip and it looks good, share and file. Title it accordingly. As you can see, I have it over here at the highest resolution, which is 1080p. Again, picture and sound is the most important thing with these self-tapes. I'm going to put it on my desktop. And you're good. Double click. You now know how to set up your at-home self-tape studio and edit your auditions to look professional. But what about the audition itself? If you want to learn how to break down your sides and uncover all of the valuable information hiding in the scenes, check out this video next. Preparing yourself today for the opportunities that come tomorrow is how you start to truly elevate your work. Staying consistent with that process over time is one of the most important steps towards reaching your goals. Thanks for watching. Have fun in your next audition and break legs.